I'm Bill Bussey at Our Story Studios, where I am welcoming Southern Minnesota's own Warren Nelson, the lead founder, artistic director, and resident writer-composer for Lake Superior Big Top Chautauqua. Warren,
Yes.
Thank you for joining us today on Our Story, This Song's for You.
Thank you, Bill. It's good to be back in my home ground, my hometown.
Well, we know you've had an absolutely incredible career over these many years. Can you give us an idea of how it all started?
My cousin had a ukulele, and he was from Sherburne, and he strummed it one day, and I heard that sound. And before then, I'd been a cornet player in the Fairmont High School band, and which later on, Richard Scheer, the director, said, "Hey, Warren, do your best. It's none too good." And I knew that wasn't my answer, but I heard that little strum of the ukulele, and something happened to me, and then I caught on in the early '60s to the folk, as Doc Watson called it, the folk scare.
Right.
When rock and roll was leaving and the folk music scene began to come in, and I don't know, I heard a Kingston Trio song on the radio, and I sat up in my bed there in Schroekers Drive, and I instantly, like Coco, knew I was a songwriter. I just knew it. And then I started the next day, and I went and got myself a little guitar, a little cheap guitar from Munkermy Ward Store in Fairmont, and then started folk groups and had trios and quartets and started playing and entertaining, getting up in front of people, and found out that I really liked it. I never thought it would be a career because I went to college to study something else, but
Sure.
I slipped into it, and it's what I always wanted to do, but I never figured it would be a living for me.
And what was the first major important musical thing you produced?
Oh, I think maybe I had a little folk group called Nelly's Folk here, based on the equation of the New Christy Minstrels, 9-10 people. We started singing, and so we did concerts in the old Fairmont Junior High School here, that old auditorium there. And I think we did one in benefit for the Fairmont Junior College, which was supposed to be here but never happened. So that started to go, and then we began to get gigs and more gigs, and then my professional career started in 1967. About that, huh? Mm-hmm. When we took the group out to Medora, North Dakota, and played 70 straight nights in a amphitheater out there, which is still going on. And that was our, well, actually the first professional gig was, remember the old, the Leamington Hotel?
Yes, definitely.
Frank Plute was a great theater director and teacher in Fairmont. And Georgia Meister and Marnie Brodt and some people had met my group, invited us to a Christmas party. And Frank was there. He was a wonderful, wonderful teacher in Fairmont, theater person. He ended up, I think, in Robbinsdale later on in Minneapolis. And he saw us perform at Georgia Meister's Christmas party. And he immediately called up Gary, what was his name? I think Schaefer. No. Up in Minneapolis, who had something to do with the Al Sheehan Agency and the Edgewater, the Al Sheehan Agency. And he said, "Hey, I think we got somebody down here who's, he's got something going." Right. And so we went up to Leamington and played an audition for the Minnesota Turkey Growers Convention. This is for us big deal, Fairmont kids going up there. 3,000 people in the audience. We knocked them dead, so then we got our first pro contract to play Medora, North Dakota Amphitheater for all summer in 1967.
I should have brought my old Nelly's Folk albums. I didn't think of that today. You could have autographed those. You've done all this now. What can we look forward to in the future?
Well, I've been lucky. I'm the luckiest man alive to have my own tent theater. A dream come true, and a lot of support. And one of the last favorite gigs I ever had was this last summer at the Minnesota State Fair. Mm-hmm. We raised some funding for our own tent. I called it State Fair Chautauqua. We played my Minnesota show there. It debuted here in Fairmont at the Opera House in celebration of Minnesota's big birthday. Played it 49 times in 12 and a half days. And, our 12, 13-piece band. And and I to continue that, and then to just keep going at the Big Top Chautauqua and travel around. And I really enjoy going into the small communities and doing these big shows. about
Right.
big shows in small towns.
Well, they need to see them too.
And then besides doing the evening concerts, during the day, we're doing shows for kids, school kids that are bused in, be they elementary or high school or junior high. And some of these kids, their parents don't take them to theaters.
Right.
And we get to sing the sense of place.
We certainly enjoyed when that Minnesota show debuted here.
Yes,
we
it
used
did.
That
That was a
clip,
long time
the
ago
Great
now,
Minnesota State
2000.
Fair too. It was all very wonderful. It's great. I agree. It's great for the kids to get a chance to experience some of this stuff. We have just a couple of seconds, so I want to thank you for visiting with us today, and we hope you have time for a song.
Yeah, I'll give you one about southern Minnesota, where I come from, where it all started for me. And it's still the soul of my home here,
Good.
here, Fairmont.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Warren Nelson.
I'm driving the daylight down Interstate 35, southern Minnesota, where I come from. I'm tired of all the snow up north, it's time to roll and go. Southern Minnesota, where I come from. I'm going down below, I get to do me a little show in southern Minnesota, where I come from. On I-90 I'm doing 80, that's me speeding by Albuquerque in southern Minnesota, where I come from. Ah, there's a girl there in Blue Earth I should maybe stop and see in southern Minnesota, where I come from. But not tonight in old Fairmont, the home light nights for me in southern Minnesota, where I come from. In the rolling green of old Martin County, in the warm farm rich black mold, I have to see the lakes free of ice finally. It's high time I come home. When I get into town, I'm going to drive around in southern Minnesota, where I come from. It's what I love to do, just to see what's up and new with you in southern Minnesota, where I come from. Southern Minnesota, where I come from. Over the memory of the tall grass prairie, where the buffalo used to graze, used to roam, where God still wallows in the sod and sings, follow the summer back home. New flowers break the ground when the little river runs. We forever young, spring is sprung. Under the dip of the swallows and the calling of the crows. Ah, you can't hear it in the roads, you can hear the corn stretch and grow in southern Minnesota, where I come from. In the rolling green of old Martin County, where the warm farm rich black mold. Nice to see the lakes free of ice finally. It's high time I come home in southern Minnesota, where I come from.